Alright guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another Ask Me Anything with the gaffer, Devs, aka Jay Devereaux. We're here at the hashtag HQ, and today we've actually got a game tonight, which obviously hasn't happened yet. We're going up against St Margaret's Spree. I think you guys would have seen the highlights of this game by the time you see this video, but if you're wondering why we haven't referenced it, it's because we haven't seen that game yet. Obviously, Dev's got some more questions from Instagram, from Twitter for you. First question from Dara Kiernan. Is there going to be a new kit? We've started the new season with our existing home kit, but we can reveal there is a new kit coming, Devs.
Yes, away kit.
A new away kit, also be used by the esports boys, and we're not going to tell you too much about it yet, but we will tell you that it's a little bit of an homage to a previous away kit and also the first ever hashtag 7-a-side kit back in the day. So if you do a bit of research, you might be able to figure out what it'll look like, but that's going to come a couple months into the season. Not deliberately, it's just a few delays with the kind of manufacturing of it, and obviously want to make sure it's perfect for you guys. So we'll get it out and we'll get news about that as soon as possible. Definitely be available for you guys to buy for Christmas if you want to get yourself one of these beautiful kits. Natalie Maunders has asked, how influential will Josh Asude be this season? And as a follow-up question, Manny Megagan has said, why doesn't Asude get the game time he deserves?
Okay, good questions. I'll probably take the second one first, bearing in mind we're only, as we speak, 3 games into the season, and Josh has started one of those games and been on the bench for the other 2. Josh comes in and I see a lot of comments, and there seems to be a bit of an assumption that because Josh won the academy, that it kind of almost makes him an automatic first choice, first starter, and that's, you know, he's entitled to that as part of winning the competition. And that's never the case. Josh won the competition, he won the contract to be part of our squad in the same way that every single other one of our players gets that's signed. So Josh has that competition within the squad. He's coming into an established team with a reasonable amount of experience
and success.
Yeah. And he's new to senior football. Josh is a young lad, and he's got some real good qualities, raw attributes that I think will make him successful for us, or certainly gives him the platform to become successful for us. But again, he hasn't got that experience yet, and it's important that we and myself and the coaches that we've got manage him carefully, and we don't put too much on him too early. There's a chance that he may be a little inconsistent with his performances, but that happens with young players, and I accept that. Probably more so than Josh does, because when you play yourself, you don't necessarily see it yourself. But I think he's certainly got the potential to be really influential for us. At the moment, he's still learning the nuances of the game, things like positional play, knowing decision making, when to take his player on the inside and when to go on the outside, when to release the ball. What's the right pass to play. When he plays off the cuff is really dangerous, but that's not always possible when you're in a more structured environment. So it's trying to merge the two. It might take a little bit of time. We haven't signed Josh to be an instant success.
No.
We've signed him because of his potential.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that the guys when they're watching can try to consider that and understand actually in my decision making.
Maybe you guys are sort of comparing him to a previous academy winner, Scott Pollock. You've got to remember this is a very different environment. Scott came into a team which was very easy to improve. It wasn't as anywhere near a good team, and we were playing in less competitive games. You've said it before.
And Scott didn't. Am I right? But Scott didn't always start as well.
He didn't always come in. I mean, we even in the Wembley Cup, which he got man of the match and he assisted. I didn't start him in that game. I subbed him on, and I said to him why I was doing that. I believed it was better for him to come on, and it worked. But you've got to also remember, if Scott had won this series, he'd still be a very young lad in a non-league, very physical environment. He might not be starting every game. So just think about that. But judge the Asude season at the end of the season, then we can review it again then. Another new player, Luke Wilson, centre back, come in largely because of obviously the injury to Jack Harrison. Keelan Morris has asked, what do you think of Luke Wilson's debut? He's played 2 games now for us and 2 wins, 2 clean sheets.
Yeah, he's fitted in really well, Luke. I'm even more relieved knowing the extent of Jack's injury this morning that we managed to bring him in. He's come in. He knows this level and the one above really well. He's been successful at this level. He's quite no nonsense. That's not to undermine his football ability, because he's got a good amount of ability. But he's also prepared to defend, which you need. He knows when to head it clear, when to clear his lines, and he's also a really good personality to come, which is important. He's fitting in the dressing room really well. Obviously, it helps that we've had 2 good performances, 2 good wins. Been pleased with Luke. Pleased to have him in, and I'm looking forward to him working with us this season.
Next question from Leon Woodhead. He says, describe Spencer in 3 words.
Oh, good question.
Choose your words carefully.
Chairman, not player.
Well,
Can I say that?
I play Sundays.
Those are my 3 words, though, aren't they?
All right.
All right. No, okay.
No longer first, and that's 4 words.
I told you.
How about great chairman? Just 2 words. Keep it simple, succinct.
Ambitious, fair, really tiny, but that you can't see, demanding.
Very true. I demand the best. And so far, so good. I could have gone a lot worse, so I'm happy with those words. I'll take them.
Well, I know.
This is for the camera version.
Cool.
Harry Watson Harper says, when's hashtag going to become big enough for a youth system? This is a very topical question, because it is something we want to do. We can't put timelines on it. It's much more complicated than it probably sounds, but it's something we want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that we're constantly looking at. There's lots of things that we have to, are on our list in terms of us evolving as a club, and one of those is having a youth set up. Hopefully, I'd say it's fairly high on our list of priorities as well, and fair to say that hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But what's important for us is how we do that, how it then looks, and that again, as part of our football club, that it's sustainable.
Yes, exactly.
We've got to remember, it feels like such a long time, and I think particularly when everything goes out for everybody to see, and we had this conversation earlier, didn't we, just in terms about how old the club is, and it's still a baby. Even we talk about the originals and the old guys, but actually that was only 3.5 years ago. So much has happened in such a short space of time, it feels longer. So even in 5-10 years time, we'll still be a baby of a club, and probably still be things that we need to do to make the club bigger and more sustainable. But a youth setup is definitely something that will happen.
Yeah, it's right up there. We know how many of you guys, particularly younger guys watching, would love to see it and maybe even play in it. So don't worry. It's the same reason we did the first Academy series. Obviously, the Academy has developed since then, but when we first started it, one of the main reasons for me doing it was to give one of the guys watching the chance to play in the team. Now, it's not so simple now, because we play at a high level, and with all due respect to those of you watching, 95% of you, maybe more, would not get anywhere near this team. That's just a fact. Maybe I'm being unfair, but I think it's hard to get in our team now. So we can't quite do that the same way.
I'd say it's harder than it looks.
It's harder than it looks, yeah, that's definitely right.
We sit in front of...
but also because loads of you aren't from around here as well, that's the other thing. Lots of you watching in other countries, it wouldn't be practical either. But yeah, there's still a chance for the younger guys that want to come in and represent hashtag in some way for that to happen. So we want to look at it. We will get an update to you, but it's definitely up there. George Fremantle says, who would you bet your money on to be faster, Harry Honesty or Josh Asude?
Oh,
I know who I think.
Going to upset someone.
I think it depends on the distance.
It may well depend on the distance. If we're talking parameters of a pitch, I would have to say at the moment, and I'm not a betting man, but if I had to, I'd probably edge towards Josh. But I think you have to consider, I'm not so sure that would be the case with when Harry was 20.
Yes.
You've got to bear in mind Harry's, he's 29 now, I think. And I do remember Harry as an 18-year-old, and he was rapid. Yeah. He's quick now, he's very quick now, but he was rapid. And actually I remember him scoring a goal I gave him his debut in senior football. I think he was 17 or 18, and he scored the kind of goal that was reminiscent of some of the clips of Josh in the academy series, where, you know, giving other players 15, 20 yards and making that up. So it would have been really interesting to kind of see them both at a similar age. But if they were running today in a race, I think I'd go with Josh.
Yeah, I think I would as well, but I think I'd back Harry in a 100-metre sprint. But it remains to be seen. Maybe it will never be seen. What's important is we've got two really fast guys, and also, as much as, you know, Harry still rapid, might not be as fast as he used to be, there's a lot Josh could learn from Harry, because there's a lot of Harry's learned over the years and the sort of 10 years he's got on him almost, in terms of the playing of the game and the technical and things like that. So it's a great two players to have at the club. Almat's 1992, is it feasible to play attractive football and still be successful in non-league? I think that's a great question.
Yeah. It's interesting that I think the attractive's in quotations, isn't it? Because, you know, I suppose beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all that. I would say I think it is. I think it's very difficult. There are so many factors that you have to consider that I think the elite don't have to contend with that non-league footballers do, in terms of the quality of the pitches and things like that. Even to the extent where at the top level, all the pitches are exactly the same size. You know, I think it's now the FIFA ruling that.
Yeah, I think
or at least I think any new grounds that go down have to be.
Yeah, whereas non-league you get a real difference.
Yeah, you know,
we played on the pitch earlier that was quite narrow. You got another one that's super big and it has different disadvantages and advantages.
Some with poor surfaces. Yeah. Even the best surfaces at non-league football are not a patch of those at professional. And also, it's non-league football for a reason, and it's league football, Premier League football for a reason, and it's the ability of the players.
Yes.
So you can try to play attractive football, but a non-league team playing attractive football will make more mistakes than a league team trying to play attractive football, and mistakes lead to conceding. And you know, the more you concede, the more chance there is of losing games. So I think it's possible, and there's been some fantastic footballing sides in non-league, but those have tended to be the clubs slightly higher up.
Next question. My result says, how long do you expect to manage hashtag for?
I don't really think about it. I think it's probably the quickest answer, because I think it's that word expect. I think if you start to expect anything, then you kind of become a little complacent. It's kind of messages really I give to the players if I suspect that there's any kind of expectation or entitlement. So I don't feel like there's any entitlement. I don't feel entitled to manage a hashtag. I don't expect to be here next season if I haven't done my job. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that if we struggle on the pitch, I won't feel that I'm doing my job, because I do think you can be doing a good job and still be struggling on the pitch. But no, I don't expect. I know for sure one day I won't be the manager, and that might be your decision. It might be my decision. It might be mutual. It will. You kind of when you're a manager, you kind of have an understanding that one day you will get the sack.
Yeah. Really,
it's about whether you're sacked by somebody else or you sack yourself. So I don't. Hopefully, a long time, but I don't expect.
All I can say is lucky you've got such a fair chairman. The fairman. This is an interesting one. Alex Waller Private, use his private account for this one. Do you use shampoo? Ryan Lueng, 18, has hashtag altered its style to play at a higher division?
I don't think so. I mean, it's early. We haven't gone out with any intent to change our style. I think sometimes the players that you want to bring in affect the style you able to play or can then move on to play. there's not a great deal between the two divisions. That we've, you know, the league we came out of last year was a tough league.
We've seen that a lot in cup results recently. Actually, we've seen a lot of teams from the league we've just been promoted from beating teams from our league.
Yeah, in the FA Cup, there were some good teams in the league below, some good teams in this league as well. But in terms of the style and the way that they play, it's fairly similar. There's not a stark contrast into how you need to play. So at the moment, you know, we haven't seen the need to change too much.
Gilray99. Did you want Charlie to do Challenger games as there was a risk of injury? Obviously, Charlie Morley pulled his hamstring at Logan Paul's Challenger games as a result of that. And to be fair, there was other reasons we didn't see him as much before that. He had a lot of things on during the summer. Didn't really see him in pre-season. He is still a player. He's just got an injury, and it's probably pushed him down the pecking order a bit as a result.
Well, naturally, because I haven't seen him. Charlie wasn't able to do a pre-season training session even because of his other commitments, and those things are beyond my control, so it doesn't really matter if I wanted him to do it or not. It was a huge opportunity for him. I would never stop him doing that, but if I wanted to stop him I couldn't have. So it kind of is irrelevant as to how I felt or what I wanted from it. I would love for Isingano to not have gone on holiday for 3 weeks before the start of the season. I'd love for Harry Honesty to not have done the same, and some of the others, which is why I couldn't play them the first game of the season even though they were back. These things impact, but we're part-time, we're not professional. These guys have other jobs, they have other commitments, and they have to fit their football around that, which means that we have to show flexibility around it as well. So that was, you know, Charlie's fit.
My main concern is I don't think Charlie warms up properly. He keeps putting his hammies.
I think, and this is an issue with a lot of the YouTube guys, because Theo suffers as well, it's that when they're filming, it's the constant repetition of what they're doing, and they're working one muscle group at a time, and overuse. And there's a lot about, I think they're young lads and they're only probably just starting to realise that their preparation and their recovery are probably more important than the when they're actually executing what they're trying to do. It's a bit like players and warm-ups and cool-downs. I think they're learning that now, but they've suffered as a result of it for injuries.
Okay, we're going to finish with 2 questions, both from people that have played for #United. First one is from Andy JW, 10AJW, ACW, also known as, obviously former goalkeeper, now goalkeeping coach. He says, Devs, in his prime as a player, would he get in the current #starting 11? I believe I'm right in saying you're a left back / centre mid option.
Played both, yeah.
So we're looking at...
Played in a system of wing backs as well.
Are you going to get in front of Tom Williams? Are you going to get in front of Ricky Evans?
In my prime?
Your prime.
Well, I played in this league and won it, and I wasn't in my prime. But I won the league above that, and I won the league above that as well. So I've played at level. So you've always got to back yourself, and you're talking about, I've played the level. So I played the level and was successful at the level. So
in his prime, he's better than everyone.
I would get in the side. If I was the manager, I probably wouldn't pick myself because of just potentially hard work at times.
Do you think I'll get in? Because I'm about 5 years off my prime still.
When you get there?
Yeah, because I started football quite late, you see, so I've worked out that I'll hit my prime around 36.
Right, okay.
Nearly 31. So I'm
right,
thinking 5 years
so
from
on
now,
that basis then, my prime wasn't as long ago as I thought, and I wouldn't get in the side.
Well, 5 years will probably be what? Because if we win the FA Cup next year and then win Europa League, Champions League, so there's a chance 4 years from now I'm captaining the first team in the Champions League final. Agreed?
I would have thought so, yeah.
Seems logical.
Well, you'll be the manager by then as well, so who am I to argue?
I've done player manager before. I've done retired for that. Jimmy Conrad is the final question. What a better person to end on. He says, why didn't #United sign Jimmy Conrad before the season? He might not be young anymore, but he's got the brains and the good looks and the modesty.
Oh, it's interesting because we had conversations and they broke down at quite an early stage with his agent. So we spoke to Jimmy's agent, and the expense demands were just too much.
Ridiculous.
Private jet.
I know, he wanted
3 times a week.
Fiji water. He wouldn't drink any water that wasn't the best. He wanted massages. He had a rider. He needed all these just blue M&Ms. with any other colour M&Ms taken out. And obviously the commute from San Francisco, fairly strenuous. So all those things added together with the fact that Jimmy actually expressed zero interest in playing for us. Obviously, if Jimmy was local, it would be very interesting. Because he
trained with us last year.
He did train with us last year. And obviously Jimmy's played for us many times in the past. We love Jimmy, but he's not in the game.
Yeah, always welcome.
Always welcome. But that is it for our AMA with the Gaffer Devs. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any other questions, leave them below. Maybe we'll do another one halfway through the season like we did last year. But generally, decent start so far. Lots of hard work to come. Got to bounce back from a few sad, injury situations, but lots of players to step in and do well. Thank you very much, Devs. See you soon. Up the tags. Don't forget to hashtag.